Hello there, my name's Tom Crandall from Gear Mashers, and today we're taking a look at a super cool barbell. It's by Fringe Sport. It's known as the Shorty, and I'm going to go over everything I know about the bar, so hopefully you like it. If you do, definitely give me a like. So here we go. All right, so we're back. Before I get started though, I just want to give a little bit of a background while I'm reviewing this barbell. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to reach out to a bunch of companies and see what short barbells they had. So I reached out to Fringe Sport, I reached out to Rogue, I reached out to Eleiko and American Barbell and a few other ones. And so I got a bunch of barbells in, and that allowed me to sort of play around with them, test the grip, test the length, all that stuff. And so I feel like I have a pretty good idea about each bar. And so if you have any questions or anything, definitely leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them as best I can. To begin with, the Fringe Sport Shorty Barbell is actually taller than all the other barbells that I have reviewed or will be reviewing. So it comes in about 71.5 inches. So it's a little bit on the tall side of a short barbell. I always like to start out, at least with these reviews, on the price point, because that's a big factor in a lot of people's decisions to buy a barbell. So the Fringe Sport Shorty Barbell retails for $350, but it does include shipping. So it's sort of that medium price range as far as barbells go. Obviously, you can get on Amazon and buy something much cheaper, but for a good quality barbell, you're looking at least 200 plus, and with Fringe Sport, shipping's included. So some of the bars I compared this against was the Rogue C70 that I have behind me. That retails for $280. Also got the Rogue C60B, and that also retails for $280. And both these bars, you have to pay shipping, so that for me it ends up being about $25 per bar. Also have this Rogue Axel Bar here. That retails for $135. And then up top here, this is the most expensive barbell I have in the lineup. And this is the Eleiko XF Short Bar, and that retails for $475. So there's sort of the price range of bars that you could think about. So $350 is sort of in the middle ring, but pretty close to the Rogue after you pay for shipping and everything. The shaft. So most of these bars that I've tested are either 28s or 28.5 diameter. American Barbell does have something that I think it's either 25 or 25.5 millimeter. For me personally, I like either the 28 or 28.5. Either one is pretty good. So with this one, it's 28 millimeters. The Rogue bars are 28.5. The Eleiko bar is 28, and then this guy over here, I think it's close to 2 inches, somewhere around there. It's a pretty big shaft on there, but it's an Axel bar. What do you expect? The knurl on the bar is, I consider this, I call it aggressive medium, because they say it's a medium knurl on there, but with the bars I've tested, the C60B, the C70, and the XF here, and even the Axel, it's the most aggressive of those bars. I didn't get to test out the American Barbell one. I felt like it felt good, I guess, is the only thing I can say. But it definitely has a little bit more grip to it than the other bars that I've tested. It comes with dual knurl marks on each side, and the knurl goes all the way to the collar. It doesn't have a center knurl, and as a matter of fact, none of the short barbells I've tested have center knurl. Just something to note, I have an Ohio bar that's by Rogue, and that has a center knurl, and it's obviously a lot longer than these. So if you're wanting something with a center knurl, you're probably going to have a hard time finding it in a short barbell. So obviously weight can be another factor. If you're looking for a short barbell, but you want to start off maybe using it for a curl bar or something like that, this comes in at 33 pounds, 15 kilos. The Rogue C60B here, that weighs 25 pounds. And then you have the Rogue C70, that weighs at 35, and then this one's 15 kilos, around 33 pounds as well. So for me, if I'm doing curls or things like that, it's always nice to start out at a little bit lower weight, so like 25 pounds. So that's typically what I'm using the C60B for, is for curling. And you can see here I have Rogue's dumbbell bumper plates on there. It just makes the bar seem a little more fun. But getting back to the bar itself, so weight-wise, not too bad. And now the other thing is sleeve length. So with Fringe, what they did is they wanted to make a shorter barbell. So they figured, okay, how can we do that? Let's just chop the sleeves off. So that's what they did. So probably went from like a 16-inch sleeve down to a little bit around 8.5-inch sleeve. Obviously, with a smaller sleeve means you can't load as much weight. I tested this out. I put 250 bumper or 245 bumper plates on there plus 225 bumper plates, and I just had enough room to put a collar on there. So I guess you could probably put 345 bumper plates on there, or you could go with some competition plates, which maybe would take up a little bit less space on the sleeve, and then you could add those on there. But for me, 245s on each side, that would be plenty. I wouldn't need any more than that. This was the only bar in the lineup that was rackable, meaning I can rack it on this bad boy here. There's 42 inches between the posts, and I was able to rack this. With all the other barbells that I've tested on the short end, they're not rackable. So the C70, the Eleiko XF, the C60B, the Axel Bar, but Rogue does make a rackable Axel Bar, but then it's not a short bar anymore. So if you have something that's not as wide as my bench here, then you may be able to rack some of these. Getting back to some of these other barbells, one thing to note, on both the C70 and the Eleiko Bar, they both have 12-inch sleeves. Eleiko's a little bit longer than that, so you can add more weight if you want to. So that's another thing to think about. Total length. So this is a little bit long in the short barbell category, I guess. So it's 71 inches. Both the C70 and the Eleiko Bar are 69 inches. Now, if you need something even shorter, then I would suggest the C60B, because that comes in at 59 inches, or the Axel Bar, which again is more of a specialty bar that comes in at 5 feet. So you can play around with that. I think most people would probably want to, if they're having a specialty short bar, the C60B is probably a good one to think about. As far as doing other exercises, I found that this bar was pretty good. So like if you have a landmine or something like that and you wanted to do some exercises with it, the sleeve length seemed to be good, at least for me. When I'm doing a landmine exercise, I'm not having to worry about putting on too much weight. I can put on some 45s on there, but I don't need a collar when I'm doing landmine exercise. So I get that extra space at the end. But if you go really heavy, you may want to think about, and you're doing landmine exercises, the C70 or the Eleiko Bar might be a better option just because of the sleeve length. I guess the last thing I want to cover is the coating on the bar. So this has a chrome both on the bar and on the sleeve here. They use a shiny chrome on the sleeve and then a dull chrome on the bar itself, which is pretty cool. And then looking back, like all the bars I got, was sort of funny. None of them had the same coating on the shaft. So like the C60B, they use Cerakote. The bar from Rogue here, the C70, they use zinc both on the shaft and on the sleeve here, which I'm not a fan of having zinc on the sleeve, especially black zinc, because it's going to chip and it's going to show wear and stuff like that. And then the Axel Bar is just powder coated on both, so that gets chipped away. As far as preference, like if I could make the ultimate short bar, it would be stainless steel, or Cerakote on, probably stainless steel or Cerakote. I don't know, like being rackable or not, how important that is. I know for a lot of people having a bar that's rackable is pretty cool, especially if you're doing like curls. It's always nice to be able to lift it off, say a setting like this, then have to lift it off the floor. But that could be, you know, a big factor. I don't know, like I think for me, just based on all these and looking at them, I really like the C70 for what it offered. Cost-wise, but I think Rogue could do better on the C70. They can come out with a newer version that would be Cerakote on the shaft and then chrome on the sleeves, maybe. The Eleiko one is great. Like, they make outstanding barbells, right? But it's expensive, and a lot of people don't want to pay that, you know, the premium cost for the bar. One thing to note though on the Fringe Sport Bar that I didn't see on any of the other barbells was they had an open end, which means that at least I thought moisture and things like that could get in there. But apparently talking to Fringe Sport doesn't seem to be an issue, but if it is, they do have a lifetime warranty on their bars. But you will have to probably service it at some point. The Eleiko bar is probably the only bar I have in this lineup that's probably not going to need servicing. Usually their bars last a really long time. And in fact, you can't even service it anyway. You have to send it back to Eleiko, I think, if you wanted to service it. Whereas the other bars, at least the Rogue bars, you can pop off the end cap there and then service it if you need to, grease it up, whatever. But all in all, I thought this was a super cool bar. Really impressed with Fringe Sport. And the other cool thing is they are here in Austin, which is nice, and they're only 15 minutes away from me right now. Eleiko, another really good company, they're also about 15 minutes away. They just moved their headquarters to Austin, so I'm pretty fortunate to have both really good companies. But anyway, if you are thinking about a barbell, definitely check out Fringe Sport. I think the Shorty's pretty neat, and since it is rackable, that might be the winning factor as far as picking this particular one over some of these others. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely hit that like button and have a great day.